Hi everyone, welcome to another tutorial session. In this video, I'm going to show you how to prepare and typeset your documents using LaTeX. For those who have heard of LaTeX, great. If you are now hearing it for the first time, I will advise you to stay tuned and you'll get some useful information that will help you to use it. So what is LaTeX and why do we have to use it? LaTeX is a typesetting system that allows you to create high-quality publication documents. It's popular and heavily used in the scientific community. LaTeX. Now, with LaTeX, it's useful for typesetting mathematical notations. If you want to include mathematical symbols, expressions, equations, LaTeX can help you do that. For computer scientists, if you want to include algorithms or pseudocodes in your documents, LaTeX can help you do that. So basically, LaTeX has utilities that will allow you to prepare and format your documents. LaTeX can be used to produce PDFs, which can be converted to HTML, SVG, and other formats. All right. And one good thing about LaTeX is that it's free and open source, so you don't have to pay before you use it. Just download and use it. Now, how do we run LaTeX? In running LaTeX, you have two options. You either run it online or you run it offline. I'm going to show you both, of course. That's why we are here. And so what I want us to do is to first look at how to run LaTeX online, and then we will continue. Now, if you want to run it online, you need to go to overleaf. That's the popular one. And there's the link, right? There's the page. So you need to have an internet connection and you also need to have a browser. So make sure you have them, and let's visit this page, which is overleaf.com. So I'll shift to my browser. And this is the home page. All right. Now, when you're on Overleaf, if you already have an account, great. All that I have to do is to click on login, this one here. All right, so when you click on login, you have this page coming up and you have to enter your email address and password and then click on login. Now, if you are yet to create an account, then just scroll down and then come to register. Click on register here. So when you click it, you'll be asked to enter your email address in another form. Let's just go back to the home page. I think we can also sign up there or register for new users. So let's go to the home page and then do it there. Great. So if you're on the home page, for new users, those who want to create accounts, just enter your email address here and the password you want to use and click sign up for free. So once you do that, we can proceed. So let's do that and get started with Overleaf. All right, so if you enter your email address and password, a code will be sent to you, and once you enter it and everything is okay, this is the page that will come just to let you know that the account has been successfully created. So now let's click on continue and then proceed. Now, when you click on continue, you'll be asked to enter some information. You can skip them. Just click on skip and skip them, and then you come to the main page, which is here. Now, when you are here, you see we have create new project, we have learn LaTeX with a tutorial, we also have browse templates. That's what we have. So I'm going to show you how to prepare a document with LaTeX. So we will have to go to new project. We have to create a new project. So let's all click on create a new project and then continue. So when you click on new project, you will be given this. So we have blank projects, we have example projects, upload, import. So basically, you can import from GitHub if you have a project there. You can also upload from your computer. If you also have an example project, you can add it. Or we just use a blank project. So blank project, that means we are starting from scratch. All right. So let's click on blank projects and proceed. So when you click on blank projects, you'll be asked to enter the project name. So I'll just say my project, and I will create it. So let's all click on create and then get the project started. All right, so once you have clicked on the create, this is what will come. All right, so here it has initialized the documents for you. All right, so this is basically what you need to start preparing your LaTeX document. So I'll just give a brief description. I repeat, I'll just give a brief description. So if you are going to generate a LaTeX document, you need to indicate the document type. Here it says document class. So line 1 is mandatory. You have to give the document class and specify. Here it's article. Right, there are other document types as well, which I'll show later. Then if you have to use any package, then you have to specify it in the next line. We also have all these title, author, etc. And then the main body, you start with this line /begin document, and then you end with /end document, and then in between, that's where you put your information. Right, so for the bare minimum, some of the information here we will not need it, and so what I'll do is to clear everything and then restart. But let me also say that so changes that you make here will reflect only after you have recompiled, and then you can download it here. So here it has specified some basic information here, which I'm sure it got from the information I used to register, but you can also change them. So for now, let's just clear everything. Let's make it blank, and then let's start afresh. You also notice this. So if there's an issue with the internet too, it will let you know. Okay, so just take note of that. So there's the online version. All right, now let's try to recompile. If you try to recompile, this is what will happen. Let's just do it here. Okay, now we see if you try to recompile by clicking on recompile, here's what you get. All right, so basically it says no PDF. All right, so it shows all these information, which simply puts here it's blank. There's nothing in this page. All right, so that means it has nothing to compile. That's why we have this. But once we populate it, this errors will go away. You should also know that it's advisable that whenever you type, you occasionally recompile so that it becomes easy to track where issues are. All right, so let's just proceed. So this is what we are going to do. We are creating everything from scratch, and so I'll show you how to do that with LaTeX. Now, from the previous page, all right, let's say from the text which we just cleared, we started with /documents. I'll just here, so /documents and then class. Now you realize that once we start typing, this is what we have to begin with. It tries to predict what you want to type and gives you the alternatives or the options that you can use. Here I'm using /document class, so I'll click the first one. All right, I use article. Now with /document class, it's possible to also specify the font size. So you do that in the square bracket here. So I'll just say 10 pt. All right, that's the font size that I want to use for the text. Now in the curly brackets here, we indicate the document class or document type. I'm going to use article, but there are others here. So you can see article, beamer, book, letter, report. So I normally use article, so I'll select that one. Right. Take note that this is the online version. So overleaf tries to autocomplete some of the commands for you. So this may not be the same if you are running it locally. So just take note of that. So I'll click article, and then that's it. Now I'll go to the next line, and I'll say /begin. Again, it's tried to autocomplete for me. Curly brackets, I'll say documents. All right, it tries to also give it to me. All right, /begin documents. Now when I click it to complete, it also autocompletes by adding the end documents for me. when we start with /begin document, we also have to end with /end document. And then in between is where we put in our text or our documents. That's what you need to take note here. So we now have the bare minimum. So let's just type something here. Let's say hi there, welcome to LaTex. So we have this there. Let's just complete it. So I'll just recompile and let's see what comes up. So if everything is okay, then this is what you are going to see. So there's it. Now let's add a new line, another text. So in this, I'll just say this is my second line. Now you'll notice that even though I'm typing here, the change is yet to reflect. The change is yet to reflect. All right. So if you want the change to reflect, then you need to click on recompile. And once you do that, the change will reflect. All right. That's what you have here. You also notice that even though this is in another line, in the PDF here, which you can download by the way, it's in the same line. And so what you need to do is to, in the previous line, just hit enter to add a blank line. And now once you have it like this and you recompile, it will automatically send it to a new line. So this is how we do it. All right. Now this is the preview. You can download this document to your system and then just view it. Okay, so this is what you have here. All right, so that's it. Now with LaTex, the special text, I think it's something like this /LaTex. Let's try this if this is going to work to give us that special LaTex font. Okay, good. So we have this. Anyway, this is just by the way, but you may not need it. All right. So that's how we do it. And so you can continue adding your documents, adding your text, maths, equations, everything. All right. You should take note that in the online version, all other files which are needed, all right, so you should upload all of them here before you can run the main documents. So that's the requirement. And so if you are the type who has lots of projects and you want to manually monitor them, organize them, you want to be flexible, then it's advisable to use the offline version. And that's what we are going to look at next. So let's look at how we are going to run LaTeX offline. Now, if you are going to run it offline, then take note that you can download the installer for Windows, macOS, or Linux. All right. Now, for the offline, you will need the LaTeX distribution, and you also need a text editor. So the LaTeX distribution is the main LaTeX system, and then the text editor kinds of gives you a graphical interface that you can use to do your editing in a flexible and convenient way. That's what it is. So let's look at where we can download the LaTeX distribution and the text editor. So let's go back to the page. I'll go back to this page. There's the page. I'll leave the link to this page also in the description box. So when you are here, when you scroll down, yeah, a bit, you see Linux, macOS, Windows, and it also even gives you the online. Okay, so these are links that you can use to generate your LaTeX document online. So overleaf, which we just talked about, we also have Papiria, and we have Coca. So all these are there. All right, so based on your knowledge here, you can use these other ones. All right, so this is the LaTeX distribution. So what I have to do is to download and set it up. And take note that I have a separate tutorial that shows how to install LaTeX locally. So just watch that. For this tutorial, I assume that you are going to set them up. But if you have a challenge, just check the description box. You'll find the link that will help you to set LaTeX up on your system. Okay, so that's for the LaTeX distribution. You also need a text editor for LaTeX, and so that one too, this is the page. I use Text Studio, which is cool, and so you also have to download this Text Studio too. Okay, again, when you click on download, you have options. All right, we have for Windows, we have for Linux. All right, and I think for macOS there's another tool that I have to use. Okay, yeah, you also have it for macOS, which is also here. All right, so again, Windows, Linux, macOS, Text Studio works. Take note, there are other text editors. There are likely to be others. I'm used to the Text Studio. That's why I'm showing you this, but it's possible to find other text editors as well. So just take note of that. The link to Text Studio is in the description box. So use that to download Text Studio and set up. Take note that Text Studio will only work if you have the LaTeX distribution installed and set up properly on your system. Take note of that. All right, now let's go to the offline. I have already set up mine, by the way, so I will move straight to my offline setup, and that's where we are going to continue. All right, so our shifts, I'm using a Linux system. I have set it up, and so this is my Text Studio. Now, when you're on the Text Studio, take note that there are different options available for you. We have functionality that will allow you to change the text, font size, font type, etc. But we are just going to keep it simple here. Now, for Text Studio, it's intuitive, so you can easily create your documents, edits. So I'll come to File, I'll go to New to get my new form, which I'll work in. All right, and so let's look at how we are going to do the rest of the activities here. Okay, now I'll do this. I'll create my document, which we've done already. So I'll say /document class, and then I'll bring my square brackets 10 pt. That's what I'll use. So that means when you render it, the font size will be 10 pt. I'll indicate my article, which is here. So this is what we get here. Now, if the font size is too small, you can change it. Let me show you how to do that. I think it's somewhere here. Let's see. Let's go to Configure Text Studio. Let's see. We have General. I think I need the editor itself, which is here. So here I'll change to, let's say, 14. That's the only thing I'll do here, just to increase the editor font size. Okay, good. So now it's a bit bigger. We can still make it bigger. Let's say 16, just so that you can all see properly. Okay, great. Okay, so this is what I have here. So now we can proceed. So I have my documents like this, and then the next line I'll say /begin documents. Again, you see it tries to complete for me. So there is it. The next line, once I hit enter, it automatically completes for me, and it also tells me content should be in between. This is what we need. All right, now I'll clear this text. I'll just add some space in between, and I'm going to start. So ladies and gentlemen, let's start some LaTeX activities. Now with this activity, we are going to do some things. We are going to look at how to add a generic text. We are also going to look at mathematical symbols, expressions, equations. That's typesetting your mathematical notations. And we're also going to look at adding algorithms or pseudocodes. So let's start with the generic text. Okay, so text, we already started this, so I'll just do it again. I'll just say this is, or let's just say hi there. this is LaTeX. All right, now if you want the special LaTeX fonts or formats, you just add /LaTeX there. All right, now for now I'll just keep it simple. I'll just do it this way first. Now if you have this, what we need to do is to look at the preview. Now the preview usually comes on the right side, which you have to enable. And so what you want to do is to first come here, tools. When you come to tools, you go to build and view. There's also a shortcut here. So when you click on build and view, all right, it's going to build and show you here on the right side here. So as you type, from henceforth, once you've done the build and view, whenever you make any change, all I have to do is to come here, compile here, click compile, and the change will automatically be effected here. All right, just as we did with the overleaf. Now with the view, that's the preview. And take note that on the local system, once you are doing this, it will automatically generate the PDF. All right, but that can only be done if you have saved this to a file. All right, so first of all, let's save this new document to an output file first, and then you will look at the PDF that will be generated automatically. Let's do that and come here. So I'll go to file and I'll go to save as. Save as here. I'll do that now. Then I think I'll remove the dots. Let's hit it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I think so. Because we saved it, I think we have to build and view. That's what's happened. So once you have saved it, that means it's a new file. So we need to do that first. I think that's what is causing that. So I'll just go to build and view. Good. So now we have it there. All right. Okay. So you go to build and view first, then we can now change. Let's just add another line. So this is another line. So now when you just click on compile, it's going to work for you. All right. Okay, good. So now we can continue. Now with LaTeX, it's for typesetting. And so it will allow you to format your text. And so I'm going to show you a few of these formatting tips. The first thing I would like you to note is that even though it's for when you compile, you are supposed to see these texts. It's also ignore certain lines. If there are certain lines which you want LaTeX to ignore, i.e., you don't want them to be included in the document, you just have to begin those lines with this symbol, the percentage symbol, that's what I call it. So shift 5, this symbol, let's say the mode symbol, this one. So when you do this, let's say this is a comment, it will be ignored. Now let's just compile. So when you compile, you realize this line is not showing here. It's because it's a comment line because of this symbol here. So these are comments. So that means if, let's say, you want to maybe put in some short notes in the LaTeX document itself without it appearing in your final document, then this is how you are going to do it. All right. Okay, so that's a comment line. So I'll use this to describe whatever I'm going to do below. Now let's look at some text formatting. Let's say we want to bold in the text. Then in that case, what we do is to say /text BF. All right, and then we bring our curly brackets. We start and we close, and then in that curly bracket, sometimes we also have this autocomplete, which you can click to show or to display. So in this curly bracket, you put in your text. So I'll say this is a bold text, or you can even say bold text, any text at all. Let's just make the statement. This is a, and then we compile it. When you compile it, you see that it is here. This is a bold. So here, this tells LaTeX that everything in that curly bracket should be in bold. All right, so you can use this to bolden your text. Now let's try something else. Let's say you want to italize. Okay, let's do this. Let me just make it well. So italicize. All right, let's just do something like this. All right, so in that case, what we need to do is to say /text and we say IT. Then in our curly bracket, we put in the text that we want to italicize. All right, so let's say this text has been, all right, we put it like this. All right, so this is what we do. Now let's run it as we are compiling, so you see what has happened here. All right, so it has done its work for us. So there are other text formatting stuffs you can do, which I'm going to do a detailed video on. This is just an intro. Okay, so there'll be a full video on this text formatting. All right, so now it's time to go to the mathematical notations, which is also something you will need to learn. All right, so everything is still within this document here. All right, now just take note that as we are editing, if we check, you will also see that the PDF has also generated. As we edit and we compile, it automatically saves it for you so that you can see. So there you see, notice what we have here. All right, so it automatically saves it for you. So in case maybe the tool maybe abruptly stops, you still have saved your final PDF. Okay, so that's one beauty of using Text Studio, all right, and LaTeX for that matter. Now let's move on. What we are going to do next is to write or insert some mathematical notations. And so I'll just create a new, and I'll first save it. I'll save it. So I think here I'll just create a new, just say maths notation, just another folder. Now just put it in there just to be organized. Let's see, maths. I'll give it this name. All right. So here, even though this is there because this was the previous one, we'll remove it. By the way, we can just close it and then we'll continue. So now we are going to look at how to insert mathematical notations in a LaTeX document, Okay, so again, we'll do /document a class 10pt. I'll indicate article. Then I'll say /begin document /end documents, and then inside I'll put in my mathematical notations. Take note that I made mention that this symbol, that is shift and 5, this symbol is a comment line. Okay, and so this is going to be ignored when you compile. All right, so for the various descriptions, I'll make sure I put this there to let you know that the subsequent line, that is what it means. All right, so just take note of that. Okay, now let's start with the math notations. I'll just do something here. I'll say math notations. Here I'm going to show you a few, and then there are tons of tutorials online that you can use to help you also input more mathematical notation. So here I'm giving you an intro. So when you go online, just search for them and then you find lots of them. You can also contact me if you want some special tutorials on LaTeX. All right, so here I will start with mathematical symbols, or let me just use math symbols for short. So for symbol, there are several of them. I will just try with a few of them. So let's try with one popular one, which is the theta. All right, theta, for those who don't know theta, let's just search for it online. Let's say theta. Here's the theta symbol. These are math symbols, one of the math symbols that we use. Okay, we are going to input that in LaTeX. Now with LaTeX, for math symbols like this, let's just go back. What I will say is to first tell LaTeX that I want to be in math mode. In fact, that's what we should have been talking about first. So I'll just clear this first. Now I'll come back to this. Now with the math notations, if you want to use math notations, then that particular line, you should start with a $sign and end with a $sign. Then in between, you put in your math notations. All right, so the notation here, it could be symbol, it could be an expression, it could be an equation, but they should be in the dollar symbols in between. In some systems, on some systems, it will have to be double like this, and then in between you put, I know for if you are writing LaTeX, if you are typewriting with LaTeX on Google Docs, you need to put a $sign, a double $sign before and then after. So in between these, you put in your math notation. On my system, I can do with just one. That is why I'm putting one of them there. So this is the rule when you are typesetting and inserting mathematical notations. All right, now let's get back to the first one, which is the math symbol. I'll clear this and then we will start. So it's now we are still in math, so that means $sign starts, $sign end. All right, so take note of that. Now we are on theta. So if you want to input theta, first math mode, so your $sign, and then in between I'll say /theta. So sometimes text studio will also try to predict and let you know what it is. Okay, Now that's what you have. Because it's a new document, we need to first build first and view. So I'll just go to tools, build and view. And then once I do that, you have it here. So from hence, once you've done the build and view, you can always click on compile if you make any change. So this is theta. Now I'll use my lens to enlarge it, to magnify it. And so this is the theta. All right, that's it. Now let's also try with pi. So dollar, you can also start with a dollar and just say /pi and bring your dollar. That also works. So you don't have to type the $2 first and then type your math notation in between. You can type the notation and end with a dollar. That also works. Now I have /pi. So let's go to just compile. And let's see what comes. So you can see it has also been indicated here. All right. Here I'll just enlarge it a bit. I'll zoom it a bit. Then we see it here. Let's see. Yeah, good. So I see it. So theta and then pi. Now you see that this pi here is in another line. And so ideally what should happen is this pi should go to another line. So to do that, I'll show you a couple of things. Let's start with the blank line. Let's compile and let's see. Good. So that one works. Or sometimes you can just use / here. That will also work. All right. So just take note of that. So this is for pi. All right. So there are several math symbols. And so these are just a few of them that I showed. And so basically, when you search online, LaTeX, there are documents that shows what to write, the codes to write if you want to insert a particular math symbol. All right. I think I have some links which I'll share with you. The links will all be in the description box. Okay, so this is for math symbols. Now let's move on to math expressions. So I'll just do this. I'll say math expressions. So here I'll also give a few examples. All right. Now let's just say 2x. So math mode dollar, 2x dollar. There's an expression. Okay, so you see 2x here. Okay, nicely done. Let's say 10a. You have it here. Okay, now here I'll just bring my new line here. All right. You can also put several on one line, which we'll look at when we start the math tutorial in detail. That will also be another video, by the way. All right. So that's what we have. Now let's do this. We can also do this. Dollar, let's say 2x plus 10a dollar. Let's run it, and that will also give us something else. We have that also here. All right. Now with the math expressions, there are tons. Now let's look at a few. Let's just say you want to do this. Let's just say that you want to just do, let's say, a log. Or yeah, let's say log. Now with logs, here's what happens. Logarithm. You bring your dollar. Let's bring our dollar first. And then what do? You indicate your log. And then the base you indicate with underscore. So let's say log base 2. And then you now bring your x. This is how we do it. And let me just add it. So it's supposed to be slash. All right, so slash log. Yeah, and we have it something like this. So slash log and then underscore, and then you bring your here. So here it's a log function. So underscore 2, that's the base, and then you have your other number here. So let's compile this. Now you see what we have here, log 2x. Now if there was no base, then you just have to just do this. I'll just say $/log x $. Let's run this. Okay, so that is if there was no base, but if you have a base, then this is the format to use. Now with logarithm tool, it could be in several formats. All right, so this is just an intro. We will look at logarithm in detail, and there are also tutorials that focus on just typesetting with logs. Okay, so these are things you can check online and then learn how to do. This is just the basics, the beginner level. All right, now let's proceed. Let's also look at square roots. That's something we can also look at here. We are done with logs. Let's also look at square roots, which is something you also do a lot. So with square root 2, let's say square root of 2. So again, math mode, and we say /sqrt, and then you see the format here. So this is the arguments. So here we put root, put arguments. For this tutorial, just using the simple one, I'll just show you. So curly bracket, let's say $4. I'll run it. So you see what I have here. Okay, that's for square roots. All right. Now, if let's say it's not square roots and it's, let's say, fourth roots, something like that, or cube roots, then you can just say /sqrt. Okay, let's just say this. Let's just say cube root of 9. Then in that case, what we bring in here is this. We bring the Q first, then we bring our arguments, which is, let's say, 9. We bring $. Let's run this. Oh, let me just correct it here first. So this is supposed to be, this one is supposed to be square brackets. Let me just correct it. It's supposed to be a square bracket, and that's where you get it. So let's rerun it. Good. So this is what we have. So if it's just the normal square roots, you just put your arguments in your curly brackets, but if it's cube root, fourth root, whatever, then just put them here. All right. So that's, so here, if you don't bring the square brackets, then that means it's not going to be indicated. So that one represents square root, but if it's for other roots like cube roots, then those ones you need to specify them in a square bracket, and then the argument itself will also come here. So that's for square roots. Again, there are several variations depending on what you want to do. And so that's just the basics. You can just continue with those ones. Okay, now there's something else we also need to look at, and that is fractions. Okay, fractions. So with fractions, I can just say $, $in, and then fractions, it becomes /frac. And you see the format says numerator and denominator. And so the first curly bracket for numerator. So let's say 2/3. So 2, and then another curly bracket 3. Let's just close it. So let's run it. Good. So now you see you have 2/3. Right. Now you also notice that here there are no spaces. even though here there are blank lines in between the expressions, there are no space. So if you want to force some additional spaces, you can just bring your slash here. Let's try this. I'll just bring it here rather. Let's do this rather. I'll just bring my slash here. I'll bring another one here. Let's try with this one first. Let's see. Good. And I'll bring another one here. So you see that there's a change. Yeah, so you can see there's a change. So you can just use that to add extra lines. All right. So now I'll just undo them and then we proceed. I'll zoom out a bit. Yeah, so this is for fractions. All right, so it's very simple. You can try it, and let's just try another $1. Let's try this $/frac. Let's say 5/2. Let's try this. All right, so good. Now you see what is happening here. Here they are just very close. So here we can add our new line. We bring our slash to separate them. Okay, we can do same for this one also. All right, okay, good. So that's what we have. Okay, so that's for fractions. Now let's try something else. There are other math expressions you can add, and then it's important we also look at something else, and that is equations. Now with equations, here's what happens. With equations, LaTeX keeps track of all the equations and give them numbers. So let's try. So if you want to enter an equation, you first type /begin equation. There are other approaches, by the way, but I prefer to use this one, /begin equation, and then /end equation. Then I'll put my equation into it. All right, that's what I'm going to do. So here, let me just bring in a comment here. I'll just say equations. Here it was, we had math expressions, we had math symbols, math equations. Okay, so for equations, what you do is, let me just do it here properly. What you do is to type /begin equation /end equation, then in between them you put in your equation. All right, so here let's just say $a equals, let's say A plus B equals $10. So let's run it. Let's compile. Let's see this first. Okay, no, so here we are not supposed to add this. I almost forgot. So with equations, it is different from math mode, so we don't have to bring this. I think I have to do this rather. Yeah. Okay. So we are not bringing the $. So that's how it's supposed to be for equations. So let's run this. Let me just do it properly here. So I'll just do this. Let's see. Good. So now that I've closed the spaces here, you have our equation. Now if you scroll to the right side, you have the equation, and you also have the number here. Okay, so this is for equation. So if let's say you wanted to add another equation, let's see, I'll copy the same thing here. I'll just say 2a plus 5 is equals to 25, or let's say 20. And I run it. You have the other equation, and then it says equation 2. So it keeps track of your equations and then it numbers them for you. Now you notice that the equation is at the center. It's possible to format it and bring it to the left hand side. That is something that you talk about in another tutorial. So you can format and align your equations. This is something that you can do later on. All right, so this is for equations. All right, so this is just the basics for equations. All right, now let's try this. We can also insert tables. Okay, we can also insert tables. And so what we are going to do is to look at another document where I show you how to insert tables into LaTeX. So I'll create a new document. I'll save as. I'll go back. I'll just say tables. Tables or table, whichever one. And then I'll first do a build and view just to clear it. Okay, I think this ones will go when we start. All right, I can still close it. That's fine. All right, so in this session I'm going to show you how to insert, or let's say create, tables in LaTeX. Okay, so let's get started. So again, I will create my document class, square bracket 10 pt, that's the font size, article. The next line I'll say begin documents, end documents. So it has been generated. I'll clear this, and then in between I'll create my table. First, I'll just bring my comment. I'll say table. Okay, so this will be excluded in our document. All right. So let's do this. So now that we have this, what we are going to do is to look at how to create a table. Now, if you want to create a table, that's what you do. You first say / begin, and then curly brackets, and you say table. So you can even see it's indicating it for us. All right, so table, like this. All right, and so what you can also do is to add this to fine-tune the placement. And so what we do is to add square brackets and say H. So that means here. That means we want the table to be here where we are creating it. All right. So this is useful, especially in situations whereby there's a text above. And so you want LaTeX to make sure that this text, you maintain its position, and then the table should also maintain its position. So if there's a text above, then probably that's the order you want it to be, the text first and the table. And so if you use the H, LaTeX will make sure that the text is first and the table is below that text. All right, so it is just for formatting purposes. All right, so and we will look at this as we move on. All right, so that's it. You can also add, we also have other ones. We have T, etc. But you check online, you see all these formats there. All right, so we do it, and I also say / end table. All right, so we have that done. And then in the table, tables usually will have a title. And so what you do is to say slash caption, curly bracket, I will say this is my table. All right, so that will be my caption. Okay. And LaTeX also keeps track of tables, and so if this is your first table, it's going to be table 1, table 2, etc. All right, now here we also want to center it, so I'll just say slash centering to center the table. And then when I move to the next line, I'll just say slash begin, and I'll say tabular. Now we are getting to the table itself. The first one was to give us a general table environment, and now we are now fine-tuning our table, right? So here I'll say tabular in curly brackets, and then we have another curly brackets which should be open and closed, and in it you define your columns. So for the columns, it's C. You bring your pipe symbol, another C. So what you need to ask is how many columns you want. So now let's just say you want 3 columns. So I bring all these. All right, that's done. Now I'll also bring another vertical line here and vertical line here, so that the table lines are also specified, the border lines are also drawn. So we need to put that there. So now we have a table with 3 columns. Now once we are done, what we will do is to specify a horizontal line, because we are also drawing the table. So we say slash H line, then we move to the next line. All right, and don't forget this slash begin tabular, we also have to add slash end tabular, which we are going to do very soon. All right, so now I have slash H line, so I now have to indicate the row records. I put the row record. So here I'll just say, let's just give any table. So let's just say column 1. Yeah, so let's just say row 1, column 1. So this is for the first cell, and then we bring an end. And I'll just say row 1, column 2. So each end means that we are moving to the next cell, or let's say the next column. All right, and here I'll just say row 1, column 3. Now when you are done, what we need to do is to add a slash to indicate that we are going to a new line, okay, i.e. a new row. And then we move to the new line, and then we will just say slash H line, indicating that we are drawing another. So these are lines we are drawing in the individual cells. Okay, so let's move to another row. So here it comes, we can just copy and just name them. I'll just do a copy and paste, and I'll format it properly here. So here is row 2, so I'll just change here to row 2. This is also row 2. This is also row 2. And then once I'm done here, I'll just say slash H line. So that means we are drawing another horizontal line. Then after that, I'll say slash end, curly brackets, tabular. All right, so this is what I have for my table. All right, this is it. Now I'll go build and view, and that is what we have here. So you can see the table here. All right, so table 1, this is my table. You can zoom in. You can add other rows as well, other columns. You can merge columns. These are things we look at in a separate. So I have a separate tutorial dedicated entirely for just tables, where I'll show you how to create different kinds of tables. All right, so this is just to help you get started for those who want to quickly start learning. All right, now if let's say we were to move this H line, let's remove it and let's compile. You will see that that line which was above there is gone. Okay, the line is gone. So let's bring it back, and then you notice, just watch here, you will see the line will be drawn again. All right, so the same thing with this one. If you were to remove it, that means the line, middle line here will go. So that is why we have to bring the H line, that's horizontal line. All right, so let's run it, and we have our table. Okay, so this is a simple table which you can add more rows. Let's add another record. I'll just copy this and paste, and then change it to row 3. So this is row 3, and again I have to bring my /h line, and I'll run it. So that will give me another row record. Okay, so that's so cool. So this is for inserting tables. Now let's look at the last one, which is pseudocodes or algorithms, how we can write pseudocodes or algorithms in LaTeX. That's going to be the last thing. And of course, later on we also look at other things, inserting pictures on the start. But for now, we will end this tutorial with pseudocodes or algorithms. So and let's take note that as you are saving and compiling, a PDF will also be automatically generated for you. Let's just check it here. You're on table, so you see that also here. So it keeps track. LaTeX Studio keeps track of whatever you are doing. All right, now let's go to the algorithm of pseudocodes. I'll click new. I'll save as. I'll just say algorithms. Algorithms, yeah. Okay, I'll just close this. We'll open it back again. Okay, now with algorithms, let me just say this. So with algorithms, you can just get an intro by visiting these 2 pages. So this is one page which shows how to write algorithms and pseudocodes, and this is another page. So we are going to look at just 1 or 2 examples to get you started, and then you can learn on your own, basically. All right, so let's proceed. Let's do this. I'll just get back here. All right, so with pseudocodes or algorithms, again, we are creating a new document. So I'll just say /document class square bracket 10pt article begin documents and then end documents. All right, so in between we are going to create our first pseudocode. Now with pseudocodes too, they are numbered, so that means that LaTeX keeps track of the pseudocodes. So that's one thing you should also take notes here. So with pseudocodes, there are packages that you need to use. You need to import these packages first, and once you import them, you will now be able to write your pseudocode. So it's always important to take note of that as well. So let's look at how we are going to write our pseudocodes, and then you proceed. So let's do this now. Okay, so I'll do this now. For pseudocodes, if you are going to do it, you need to import some packages. All right, so one of the packages you need to import is called algorithm. So we say before the begin and then the end documents, you put this one there. So we say use package. You bring your curly bracket and say algorithm. You need this one here. Then we need a second package. So I say /use package. And I'll say algorithmic. And there are other packages which you can use to create your pseudocodes or algorithms. I'm comfortable with these two, and that's why I'm using it. There are others too. So just when you go to the page that I've shown here, I'll leave the links in the description box. You'll find all the packages that LaTeX uses to generate pseudocodes or algorithms. All right, so these are the two. Now, once you are done with this, then you come to your begin document and then your end document. Then in between, you put in your algorithm. That's what it is here. Now, let's look at a simple algorithm here. I think I'll share that. I think I opened that somewhere here. So let's look at this simple algorithm here that we have. Okay. It shows a simple algorithm, which I'm going to also do. I think I'll just minimize and then show it as I type. I think that will be better. Yeah, okay, so this is it. I'll try to see if I can share it side by side. Yeah, this one should work. Okay. Now, if I'm going to use the algorithm, the first thing you have to do is to say /begin curly brackets algorithm. All right. And after that, you also have to do what? /end algorithm. You need this. Then in between, so this one opens the algorithm environment, and then you now do the typesetting of the algorithm itself with the algorithmic package. So in between these, then you begin. So we say /begin algorithmic, and I'll indicate one here. So this is just to help me to keep track, or to help LaTeX to keep track and also number the different algorithms. All right. So I'll do this. Also, you need to take note that the one here, okay, I made mention is to help LaTeX to keep track. It also tells LaTeX that every line should be numbered. So there's the option 1. So that means every line that we are going to input should be numbered. That's what it means. All right. So you can also use 2 if you want a different behavior, but just check online. You find all the available options. All right. But I use 1 because I usually want all my lines to be numbered. But here you will see that numbers, the lines here are not numbered. So sometimes it's also a matter of choice, it's a matter of preference, but I've decided that I'm going to add it. But if you don't want it, you can just remove. So let's just remove it to make it simple. Let's do it this way. All right. Okay. Now if you add /begin algorithmic, you should also end with /end algorithmic. Let's put it this way. All right. Now let's start. Okay, let me just make sure everything is fine. Okay, now we will start. This is the first line. So here I say I, and we have this symbol here. That means we are assigning 10 to I. So this symbol here, you will do it. So what this means, and we also see that this I is a variable. All right. And it's also italicized. All right. So basically, there's also math mode. All right. So what this one says that I should get 10. Okay. So what we have to do is to say /state. Now in pseudocodes, if it's a generic text, a generic procedure, a generic step, then you have to indicate with state. If we also have statement for, if, while loops, etc. So if it's like, let's say for the purposes of this tutorial, a generic text, or let's say a generic procedure, just a normal step, then we use /state. So I'll say /state, curly brackets, and I'll say $I. And I'll say /get10. I'll close the dollar symbol. I'll close the math mode. So that's what we have. Now let's go to tools, build, and view. And we see it here. Okay, so I gets 10. That's what we have here. All right, now we are going to expand it. So let's look at it. Let's go to the next line. Here it says if. Now if we say /if, and then we bring our curly brackets, dollar, I'll say I, work is I /GEQ. So this is greater or equals to 5. This is what we have here. All right, now I'll close my dollar sign. Then I'll say, now the then here, then we will look at it. So that's what I'll show. So the then itself, with that one, you don't specify. It will be automatically added if you put in the right information. So if I is this, then this. So that means you have to bring a state /state $I /gets I -1 dollar. So we end it there. All right, now it says else. So in the else statement, it's going to be /else, and take note that if you bring an if statement, you also have to end with /end if. Okay, /end if. It's important to do that, but we will come back to that. Just keep track of what I'm doing. All right, that's what's important. I'll say /else. Okay, I bring this here. Now let's check how the else is done here. It's here, but here I'm using a different thing altogether. So let's just take note of that. There are different ways of going about this. So in my case, what I'm going to do is to give a slightly different version of this pseudocode here. So here, instead of else and then the if, I'll combine them. So I'll just say /else if, and I'll say $I /LEQ 3 $. Let's just see how it plays out here. So it's supposed to be else. There's not supposed to be any e there, so this becomes it's. Let me just show this again. All right, so we have it here. So the else here is supposed to be else if. Yeah, okay, so we have it here. I'll say /state $I /gets I +2 $. Okay, so this first if it's true, then this is what should be done. That's the state. Else if the another statement is true, then this is what should be done. All right, that's what we get here. All right, once we are done with this, then we need to end the ifs. So we have /end if. That's what we have to do here to end it. All right. So now that we are done with this, we can, let's just say tools, build and view first again. And then now let's see what we have here. So notice what we have here. I'll just zoom in a bit. Yes, so there's a slightly modified version of what I did. And so here, because this if here, I just said else if, this whole thing will just end with 1. But if I said else and I brought another if down like this one, then that means I'll have to end this if and then end this if here again. But I chose not to do that, but I use this one here. All right, so the pseudocode, there are ways to also represent it in your own format. But if you have it this way, now, if you are writing a paper, a publication, all right, then it's important to also number your algorithms, your pseudocodes. You need to number them. All right. So here I've given this, but this one to someone who is a beginner, the person may not know what this means. If it's a math equation, math expression, pseudocode, or what, we don't know. So it's advisable that you add a title or a caption to it, something that will let us know that yes, this is a pseudocode, and we give a title, something that describes it. And so what we can do is to add a caption. So just after the slash begin algorithm, we can say slash caption, just like we did with the table. All right, text, now say pseudocode, or let's say sample pseudocode, something like this. Now I think I'll just enlarge it because we don't need that page again. I'll have something like this, caption. Then I'll run it. So when I run it, I should get this coming up. So it tells us algorithm 1, sample pseudocode. So this becomes much professional. Now in some papers, the algorithms are numbered. And so if you want to number it, then this is where this other option comes in. So this the slash begin algorithmic, in a square bracket you put 1, and then you run it. So when you run it, it will start numbering them. Okay, so you see what is happening. So now it's becoming clear and clear. So this is a sample pseudocode that we have also created using LaTeX. Now for pseudocodes also, I'm going to have series of tutorials on it. So we are going to look at different pseudocodes available and look at how to implement them or write them in LaTeX. Okay, so these are things I'll be doing. So just make sure to come back to this channel and watch those ones as well. All right, so this is it. So this brings me to the end of the LaTeX tutorial for beginners. We've just looked at an overview, but you should be coming to this channel because I'll be releasing more tutorials on how to use LaTeX to prepare documents and do typesetting. Okay, so that'll be all for this tutorial, and I will see you in the next session.